It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for March 8th, 2024. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Unicorn Overlord reviews are in, and they're very good. And why shouldn't Halo go to PlayStation? But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host of Game Mess Mornings. It's Lucy James, everybody. Lucy, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm swell. Oh, I was sick last week, but it was the lingering sickness where nothing was coming out. And unfortunately for you all at home, today, everything's coming out of my nose.
Yep.
And I guess I sound like this now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to mute every time I have to blow my nose. But everyone's getting sick.
Everyone's getting sick. Yeah. I'm like, okay. I thought I would just keep putting off going to the doctor. I think it is an ear infection, and I think it's just going to stay there until I go get some antibiotics. So I'm really going to have to go to urgent care this weekend and actually do something about it. So I'll do it tomorrow. I'm like, I started feeling better, and then of course Mike came back from Universal, and he was sick, and I made fun of him, and then I immediately, by like an hour later, started feeling bad again. So karma is real, and it has come for me.
Mate, that is.
Yep.
Whoa, You couldn't even write that.
And Lucy, will I learn my lesson? Of course not. Of course I won't.
No,
that'd be
absolutely
absurd.
Not. Yeah, no, you should go take care of yourself. I'm just gonna spend this weekend. I finally finished Final Fantasy VII. It's on my life. And I'm gonna spend this weekend gonna do a little bit of cleaning. Tonight's Rat Night, though. You know about Rat Night?
Listen, I thought it was International Women's Day. What is Rat Night? Why are you mixing these things up? Don't confuse me.
No,
I'm just a simple man.
Rat Night is every Friday for me.
Okay.
So Rat Night. Okay, so Rat Night is different to Goblin Mode. Goblin Mode is like an extended period of being, like a little goblin. Rat Night is one night a week. I don't talk to anyone. I put on my most disgusting sweatpants.
Yeah.
Makeup is off, but I don't shower. I got a bottle of wine, a frozen pizza, and either some trash TV or a video game, and I get to play that, and watch that. No guilt. And that is Rat Night. Rat Night is about being your best rat self, and for me, it's Fridays.
I want
Rat Night,
Rat
unfortunately,
Night for
is
me.
followed by. Do it, and then unfortunately, the Rat Night has to be followed by Chore Saturday.
Sure, of course,
and
that's fair.
And then you get Calming Sunday. So,
okay, all right. That sounds like a game plan. I have talked a lot this week. We do a lot of shows, we do a lot of stuff, but meetings, a few extra meetings, a few extra shows, slightly longer streams, things like that. You did a friend's podcast, but just fit a bunch more in this week. And I was like, last time, man, I cannot wait to not talk to anybody anymore for 6 hours. That looks good. Friday night, Rat Night, once I get the kids to bed. That sounds pretty good.
Friday night, Rat Night, and Goblin Mode. And there is no judgment on Goblin Mode, but Goblin Mode is an extended period of being a rat. Goblin Mode is like a weekend. Goblin Mode is a lifestyle. Rat Night is a little treat.
Yeah. Finally, we need to do something for me on International Women's Day. That's right, Lexi. How are you doing otherwise? You're finishing up a big game. You're getting over a cold. You're planning Rat Night. You got everything else under control in your life? Because I'm like, I got PAX coming up. I got to get some stuff thought up for that. I did make a plan to exchange gifts with Jan. I said I would get him one. Yeah, PAX. I said I would get him one of those Chinese handhelds he always keeps eyeing and never buying. If he would get me a pair of Crocs that I keep eyeing and never buying. So
I love that. Oh man, should we get in on that? I need to figure out gifts.
This is what I'm asking. It's should we get everyone in on some of this action?
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Okay, maybe we could have some conversations about this. That would be fun. But yeah, I'm like, go ahead.
Dedicate Monday's meeting to it.
Okay, awesome. Just, the thing that you keep putting off purchasing because you're like, I don't really need that. Well, now is the time.
But maybe really Dan does.
Maybe Dan does need it. Absolutely.
Maybe Dan does. No, I'm good. I mean, the reason I had to swap days with Tam, I hosted the BAFTA noms yesterday, which was very cool.
Well done.
But also I was like, British time, that's fine. It'll be at 8 in the morning, and it was at 6.
Ooh. Yeah.
So yesterday was a long day, but it was very fun.
for some reason, when the Oscars announce nominations, they also do it at like 6 a.m. That's what I don't get that. Like, you guys are in America, you don't have to do that. Like the BAFTA, you have to get up for that at 6 a.m. That seems fair to a certain extent. Although, sorry about that, but yeah, no, that was a very cool thing.
That's a cool thing.
How does that work out? Do they just like ring you up? You're like, you're British.
I'm a paid up member of BAFTA.
Okay.
Which is probably the one thing that my parents are like, oh shit, okay. All right, okay.
Does that come with a sash?
It comes with a card.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And no, I mean,
It's like a sash for your wallet.
That's what they call cards these days, wallet sashes. No, I've been involved in BAFTA for years. Like, it's obviously British, being in the London video game scene. They do a lot of really cool mixes. They do a lot of obviously there's the awards, but they get really cool devs to come in and host sessions and do Q&A stuff, and you get like little glimpse behind the scenes of things. And so I've been involved with them for years, and then a couple of years ago I joined, and last year Tam and I presented a couple of awards, which was insane.
You looked dapper. You looked very nice in those pictures. Absolutely. The BAFTAs are not like only about awarding British people, right? Like,
no, there is one award which is like best British game.
Okay.
But there is, all the awards are like family game, new IP, multiplayer, best performances. It's like, it is, it's
be real.
different.
When an American wins, everyone's like, right? Come on.
No, honestly, no. I mean, admittedly, last year I think the big not upset, but everyone thought Elden Ring was going to walk away with best game, and then Vampire Survivors did.
That's fun. That's cool.
Which is fun, but that's the thing. It's like the way that the voting process goes and the juries. It is like such an intense process. I've been on the juror side of things too, and it's like cool. It's so many people voting on them and like whittling all down. It's cool. I love being involved in that.
I think it's very impressive, and I'm glad your parents are proud of you, because they should be. That is pretty neat.
You can join. Americans can join. Yeah, you don't have to be British to join.
I'll get a wallet sash. All right, let's make it fucking happen. All right, cool.
Let's go.
All right, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with a review roundup for Unicorn Overlord. This comes from Darren Bonthus at GameSpot. After several long years of development, Unicorn Overlord has finally arrived. Developed by Vanillaware, the studio behind the critically acclaimed 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, Unicorn Overlord is a high fantasy adventure full of swords, sorcery, and intrigue. Reviews are now live for the game, and they come in from sources like IGN, which gave it a 9 out of 10, reflecting on the incredibly diverse and remarkably creative world I explored across my 45-hour journey. Any issues I had with Unicorn Overlord ended up feeling like nothing more than nitpicks. The tactical combat system is unique and complex, and while also being easy to understand, it expertly blends mechanics from many of its peers with smart new additions of its own. That's from Eric Zalewski at IGN. Computer and Gaming Magazine gave it a 9 out of 10, saying with a wealth of character permutations, a large cast of characters, and a well-realized story, Unicorn Overlord excels at delivering a tactical role-playing game experience that lives up to the greats while continuing to expand Vanillaware's portfolio of concept art, come-to-life video games in a new light. The Gamer gave it a 9 out of 10. Noisy Pixel gave it 8.5 out of 10. Kotaku didn't give it a score, but said... Kotaku doesn't give scores, but said, this is not a game that is trying to be a narrative masterpiece. It is trying to be a mechanical marvel, and it accomplishes the latter in spades. The endlessly inventive and incredibly well-designed tactical systems at play in Unicorn Overlord make it a thrilling challenge to tackle. It isn't just a game that longtime fans of Vanillaware should pay attention to. It's for anybody wanting to play the next great tactics RPG. Unicorn Overlord is the game you've been waiting for, and that comes from Willow Rowe. Lucy, I don't need this. I don't need this game to be good as well. There are too many good games, and now I want to play this as well. It has like I think an 87 on Metacritic, which is a very high score. So and I think it actually climbed to 88 now I remember from last night. Any intentions to play this? Because I was like kind of gonna keep it to the side, and now I'm like I'm gonna at least try it. I heard Jan talk about it. He's enjoying it, so I'm gonna give it a shot and see where it takes me.
Yeah, of course Jan's talking about it. It's got tiles.
It has tiles, yes.
It has tiles.
And he loved 13 Sentinels, to be fair, so him checking in on this isn't too surprising.
Yeah, I mean, for me right now... oh, wait, there are no tiles? What?
Oh, okay. It has the aroma of tiles, I'm sure.
Actually, no tiles. Yeah, it has the air of tiles.
Yes.
You know what? Honestly, this one was not on my... not list, but like it wasn't really in my purview. Sure. I'm coming off the back of Like a Dragon. I'm coming off the back of what was the other big game we played in the middle of it? I've just finished Final Fantasy,
right? And
then I'm going in Dragon's Dogma. Hopefully, when that comes out.
When you say it like that, holy crap, that's a lot of. This is 3 big games in a row.
There's a game in the middle there that I've completely forgotten about. What was like a big release from this year?
I mean, yeah, I know what you mean, but there were like for me, it's like I was playing a ton of Balatro and I was playing a ton of.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, and that took up way too many hours on one weekend. It's like that was like half of what I did one weekend, and then I'm playing a ton of expeditions now, and that's taking up a ton of my time. So I like there are so many games in so many different directions that you can go that can fill this space. It's like, man, I didn't need another one of these, but I'm gonna
put it on my list because obviously releases are gonna slow down April, May.
Yeah,
and then we're gonna get super excited and like everything's gonna be around Summer Game Fest and Comic-Con and whatever. So I feel like I've got like a little bit of a break and just because I didn't play Persona 3 yet.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna.
And people are starting to go back to that now. A lot of people put it aside for Final Fantasy. Now everyone's like, oh, I'm back to Persona and enjoying that. It's like
Final Fantasy's out of my life, baby.
What was your final hour count on Final Fantasy?
48 to 50.
Okay, that seems somewhat reasonable. Now that I'm like trying to fit these games into my life. Yeah. Did you spend a lot of time on it? Oh, go ahead.
The final 15 hours felt like longer.
So you're in that camp of the ending is, long nonsense.
It's not the fact that the ending is nonsense that really got to me. There is a point in Chapter 11, and if you've played Chapter 11, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where the game just feels like it's wasting your time.
Okay.
And that is the final few chapters. No spoilers at all. Nope. But like it's everything. It's just dragged out so much, and it just and I genuinely got to the point where I was actively not enjoying playing it. And I was only playing to finish it so I could do spoiler cast, but also be part of like the conversation because everyone was talking about the ending, and I was like, oh, I have to see this ending. I was like, yeah.
I got to lock down these documents because I have no idea who just put this in here. But another review got added here to the roundup. This is from Giant Bomb, 4.5 meow meow beans. The quote here is slightly misleading tiles. Go all thieves and hammers, and you're in for a grand time. Don't worry, there's no naked teens and space mechs in this one, which is 13 Sentinels is guilty of last time. I'm gonna bet that's our boy Jan. But it could also be Sean or anybody who knows.
Well, according to Google Docs, it's anonymous Ifrit. So
okay.
Very intentional with the Final Fantasy chat there.
Yeah, a little bit there. I'm gonna try it. Like I said, I'm gonna give this a shot, but it's gonna be like if it doesn't immediately get me, it's gonna be very easy to put it to the side and go back to Helldivers or Expeditions or spend more time with Final Fantasy. That Rise of Ronin's coming out pretty soon. There's so much to do, and of course, once Dragon's Dogma 2. Yeah. I'm just going to struggle with that name forever. Once Dragon's Dogma 2 is here, it's like, I think that's going to be, everyone's playing that, and I'm not going to want to miss the boat on that one. So,
me too. I got some, I got some stuff like little smaller games that I wanted to play. I'm just going to I'm traveling next week. So I've got Penny's Big Breakaway. I've got Garden Life, a cozy simulator. I've got a game called there's a bunch of stuff in there.
Did you see that farming sim with mechs that just came out? It was in the Steam Next Fest, and I think it just came out. And I want to play that one. I was playing a difficult game about climbing yesterday on the site, which is like kind of like getting over it. And I'm like, I would like to spend some more time with that. I want to beat Star Wars Dark Forces. Like, yeah, it's like not just the big games. It's all these little ones that are also at least intriguing to me. And in the case of like Penny's Big Breakaway, I'm like, no, I legit like this game. I want to spend more time with it, but it's hard. Now I probably have like an hour left of RZ. I should just finish that. It's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've been looking at, so we've got GDC and then we've got PAX, and I have been looking at my GDC schedule and I am so excited about it. Like, I think
good.
More than anything. Like Day of the Devs in particular, fucking sick this year, man.
I'm glad that that's exciting stuff to look forward to, because it's getting developers all together and being able to go meet with them and kind of maybe getting some good feelings back in this space would be that's a welcome thing. So glad you're excited about it. Let's see here. Sticking with Unicorn Overlord, Vanillaware won't let Atlus release Unicorn Overlord for PC. This is from Jonas Mackey at Game Reactor. Today, it seems that virtually all developers and publishers have begun to realize that you could sell more games if you include more formats, where PC in particular is usually considered a no-brainer because it is an open format. But not everyone agrees. Nintendo is perhaps the best example, and if you want to play their titles, you have to get their hardware. However, there are also developers who don't even have their own format to support that are thinking along the same lines. These include Vanillaware, who this week released the unanimously acclaimed Unicorn Overlord. In an interview with the game's publisher, Atlus, over at Destructoid, it revealed that Vanillaware specifically stopped a PC release. As a publisher, we would like to deliver it for PC users as well, but per our agreement with Vanillaware, we are only releasing on console. In other words, there are no plans to port it to PC currently. What the fuck has Greg Miller done to these people? He's responsible somehow.
He's got too much power. He really does. I don't know why. I don't know who's done this. I don't know who's listening to him.
I don't get this. I don't
No.
Now, Vanillaware games straight up aren't on Steam. I don't think there's a single one on Steam. They'd be a good fit. Like, they have several games that were like people loved playing on PSP and all these places, and they had some Wii games going way back. All of them would be great on Steam, but not a single one is. And I don't know if they've ever explained their position. If they have, I've missed it. But I don't really fully get this. Other than maybe they're like, we just make console games, and they think along those lines, and it's from some like old school way of thinking. I don't know. What do you think?
I wonder. I mean, maybe they just don't feel like the PC market is big enough or worth it.
Yeah.
I did see someone in chat say maybe they're afraid of piracy.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe they just don't have the resources to port it. It's weird, but it is weird. Like, you'd think like the not letting Atlus or could maybe take that burden.
Right? Yeah.
If Atlus want to do it, like.
And these are situations often where there are teams, external studios dedicated to doing PC ports for other studios, and Atlus could contract that out, and it would be very little work for Vanillaware. So yeah, I don't know. It's a little confusing to me. I hope they get over that eventually. What's happened is most publishers, developers that once felt this way have like seen the light and like, we just put it on Steam and it's kind of easy, and then we sell a bunch more copies to markets we never could reach before. Hopefully Vanillaware gets to that point as well. This next story is it's more of a question, and we'll just like a quick conversation. Someone on the Install Base forum posted the first week sales for the last several Final Fantasy releases, starting with Final Fantasy 13, and we'll take into account all the physical, digital, install base factors here in a second, but let's just go through the numbers first. On the PS3, Final Fantasy 13 sold 1.5 million copies in its first week. Later, the Final Fantasy 14, obviously a different genre, but just stick with me. On the PS4, sold 716,000 copies in its first week, and this is all in Japan, everybody. Then Final Fantasy 7 Remake did 700,000 copies, and then Final Fantasy 16 did 336,000 copies, a PS5 exclusive, and then Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth did 262,000 copies. There is a clear trend of it going down. Now, let's talk about those factors. Obviously, there are fewer PS5s in the world than there were PS4s or even PS3s when Final Fantasy 13 came out, and digital is a bigger factor. That said, it's like, okay, well, let's say digital is it's 50-50, which just seems to be a fair thing. It's probably not like 60-40 in favor of digital. It's probably is like 50-50. So you double the first week sales of let's go Final Fantasy 16, and that does get you back up to about almost to 700,000, not quite to 700,000. It's like in best case scenario, Final Fantasy from game to game seems like it has come down from Final Fantasy 13, and now it's stagnating at around like first week sales of around 700,000. And then when you look at Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, it does go down kind of no matter how you slice it. Do you think this is a Final Fantasy 7 like bespoke problem where it's like because it's a remake, because it's a 3-part series, because of all these other factors, it's going to have a harder time like welcoming in new people than, hey, this is the new Final Fantasy 16 or what? What do you think's happening here?
I mean, if you look outside of Final Fantasy, I think certainly shit's expensive right now.
Yeah. And I think other franchises have probably gone down since like PS3 era in Japan as well, right?
Yeah. And like prices of gaming has gone up.
Yep.
You know, you're paying a little bit more for it. And also, you know, not that we are exactly in the same state as movies where streaming has devalued going to the cinema. Where it's like, you know, there are so many movies that come out and I'm just like, I would like to go see that, but I'll wait for it to come to streaming. It won't be too long. And I do wonder if with Final Fantasy, like, you know, if you don't have a PlayStation, I'll just wait till it comes out on Xbox. I won't get a new console for this, or I'll wait till it comes out on PC. Or, you know, eventually it will come to something like PlayStation Plus. And maybe that's, you know, and like if people are not in a rush to play things, and I think that's just like a gradual change. Like we didn't necessarily have that back when, you know, 13 or 15 were coming out. Like if you wanted something to come on Netflix, it would take forever. And like, I'm still surprised at how quickly stuff comes to Amazon to rent, you know?
Yeah.
And so I wonder if that is a shifting mentality where we are devaluing, you know, like release dates don't matter so much, but also money. I
think you're right that like that is happening simultaneous where like for something like Final Fantasy 7 remake and rebirth, I think people are talking themselves into that a little bit more, right? Because it's very easy to go, oh, so this is only part 2 of 3.
But don't forget, it's a completely standalone adventure suitable for new players.
Right, and then you hear that, and then you see all the replies that are like, "Fuck no, it's not."
No, it isn't.
And everyone understands that. They're like, I think there's going to be a percentage of people that go, I might just wait till they're all out and play them all together. Yeah. And then you know that people go back and forth on that. Everyone has conversations with themselves about like, maybe I'll wait, maybe I won't. Oh, everyone's excited about it. Everyone thinks it's good. But you start to wait, and then you start to say, well, you know, I've waited this long. Maybe I will just wait till it comes to one of these subscription services, just like Final Fantasy VII Remake did. And that's how I played it. So I'll do that with this one as well. It's no rush, especially since the ending's not here. I could see how those factors are exacerbated for something like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. I do think overall, though, Final Fantasy's trending downward doesn't seem too surprising. I think we think about the heyday of, you know, the NES, Super Nintendo games, and then it's when it was on top of the world in the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 era. And then since then, it has been like, you know, 13 and 15 are kind of like, people like them. They don't necessarily like lose their mind for them. Some people really love them. A lot of people just sort of like played them and forgot them. And at the very least, there's like arguments to be had about their position in the canon of Final Fantasy, where that does not happen with like 10 and before.
Yeah. And so also
ahead.
Like a big mainline Final Fantasy came out just last summer.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe some satiation has happened here a little bit as well. That's a good point. I think that does not mean that like Final Fantasy is doomed or something like that, but it's like maybe due for a bigger shakeup than it's even received. I think Square Enix seems like, hey, Final Fantasy's got to be these certain things, and the way we're going to change it up is now Final Fantasy 16 is going to be basically an action game, and that was a big change. But I think when people are like want to get excited about something new, that's not that new. There's a lot of action games out there, so I think maybe like looking for Final Fantasy to take some more risks and be even different, or to like fully go back home and remind them more of what it was like to play 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. But yeah, and again, this is just Japan. and at the same time, though, Square Enix is not like come out with a PR blast to say the game sold 3 million copies in the first week. Holy crap, it's so good over here. They've been pretty quiet about it. So I bet the game's doing okay. But Final Fantasy VII Remake did about 5 million copies in its like first year or something like that, which is pretty okay, but not the best. And it seems like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth might struggle to get to there quite as fast, but we'll see. At the very least, the word of mouth around Rebirth, mostly very positive. I think this game's going to have quite long legs. When people go to buy a PS5, this is going to be in that like list of games that people, I think everyone considers for the most part. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a stunning game. Up until chapter 11, I was having a really good time playing it. I really enjoyed the open world stuff and how that all had this really fun gameplay loop that really connected story to gameplay, and like I felt compelled to actually do the side stuff. You know, aside from some piss taking at the end, you know, I think it'll have legs for sure.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, a lot more headlines, including a former Microsoft executive talking about maybe putting Halo on PlayStation right after this. All right, we are back. And that headline is Halo on PlayStation is something Xbox has considered for a long time. This comes from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. As a business, Microsoft regularly considers what it can do to make the most possible money and improve the size, profile, and reputation of its brand. And one idea the company contemplated was bringing Halo to PlayStation. Former Xbox executive Peter Moore told IGN that Microsoft, years ago, had conversations about Halo on PlayStation, adding that Microsoft was constantly considering its options. Microsoft even hired the consultancy company McKinsey to create a war game scenario where Microsoft executives spent a couple days on a retreat trying to better understand the competition. Basically, like Peter Moore would be would role play as Ken Kutaragi and say, what would I do if I was in charge of PlayStation? And they said that like opened their eyes to just how aggressive a competitor could be. And that led them to think, well, how could we be more aggressive or how could we be more creative? That eventually led them to be considering what was possible with Halo. For Halo specifically, Moore said Microsoft might be running the numbers now and wondering if it makes sense financially to bring a franchise like Halo to PlayStation. Beyond the potential money to be made, there are reputation and brand considerations at play, Moore said. If Microsoft says, wait, we're doing $250 million on our own platform, but if we took Halo as, let's call it a third party, we could do $1 billion. You got to think long and hard about that, right? I mean, you just got to go, yeah, should it be kept? It's a piece of intellectual property. It's bigger than just a game. And how do you leverage that? Those are the conversations that always happen with these things. How do you leverage it in everything that we would do? And I think really what this is, Lucy, is it's illustrative of how these companies think and like why when people hear, hey, this, you know, so-and-so game is being considered for multi-platform. Like in the lead up to the announcement of the 4 games, I mentioned that they were having conversations about Gears of War. And really, that shouldn't be too surprising because as Peter Moore points out here, and what we really should all know is these conversations happen all the time because it's almost their duty to have these conversations, right? They have to consider every possibility. What do you think?
Think about what? PlayStation getting Halo, or them just even having the conversation?
Yeah, like this is like not that surprising, right? That they are that they would consider any possibility, including Halo on PlayStation. Like I think that's such a shocking thing to people, but it really shouldn't be, right?
No, like I mean, in terms of business, you are constantly analyzing your competitors and seeing what you can do to get a leg up. Like, and obviously, like they're going to be looking at multi-platform strategy. Like even just considering it, maybe getting, you know, a weird little company retreat to bore on the floor, putting ideas together. But like, it doesn't surprise me that they've been thinking about it. Like, if you look at the Xbox doesn't sell as many games, you know, especially in third party. You know, the cut is always pretty much in favor of PlayStation. And that's, you know, if they're going to put their games on PlayStation, they'll get more money.
Yep. And Moore points out like one of the big determining factors here for all these companies, not just Microsoft, and that is that the hardcore gaming community is diminishing in size. So Microsoft might want to consider the next generation of gamers and what they might want. Those hardcore are getting smaller in size and older in age. You've got to cater to the generations that are coming through because they're going to drive the business over the next 10 to 20 years, he said. But for now, at least, Halo is remaining a game series you can only play on Xbox consoles and PC.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's the generation where, you know, my nieces, know like if they want to watch something or play something, it is there for them. Like, you know, they don't have to buy a new thing. If they want to watch something, they like the app is on the TV. Like, or the app needed will be on the TV, right? They don't have to spend 300 quid to buy another box just to, you know, do something. Like, they don't have to go down to Blockbuster or to Tesco to buy physical shit. Everything is digital now, and it's a matter of convenience. So,
and all the things their friend, like when it comes to video games, all the things their friends are playing are right there on the tablet and the phone. It's, you know, Roblox, Minecraft, Call of Duty Mobile. These things are right there. Very easily accessible. If they're not free, they are like $4. And it's going to be, as Peter Moore points out, and as we all know, again, these are things we know, this next generation is going to come up, and it's going to be much more difficult to convince them to buy that 300 to 500, probably 600 next generation box. Like, that is such an uphill battle that you're almost destined to lose at this point, especially as the world changes and everyone just has a phone. And of course, not everyone just has an Xbox. That's not reasonable.
No. Is Peter Moore still at Liverpool? Where's he on?
I do think he left Liverpool. He was there for quite a few years, but I think he did retire relatively recently. I could be misremembering that though. But yeah,
I'm gonna do a little Google.
Yeah, he worked at for people who are like, hey, Peter Moore, the name, what is that name? He worked at Sega, like with the Dreamcast on, and he was Xbox. He was the guy that would have the tattoos, Halo's coming out.
Tattoo guy.
Right, and then he left the gaming industry a few years back to go be the chairman of Liverpool, and then I think pretty sure he left Liverpool. But
hello. Okay, so he left Liverpool in.
Did he get back in the games?
2020. He is an honorary president of Greshford Athletic Football Club. No idea, but that's a club that he played for when he was a kid. In 2020. He was involved with Wrexham AFC as an advisor to the new owners, and in January 2021, he was named SVP and GM of Sports and Live Entertainment for Unity.
Oh, shit, that's right, Unity. Is he still there?
Wikipedia doesn't seem to... I don't know, it says citation needed. He's also moved to the boards of Nifty Games and Motorsport Games. I don't know. That is uncited on Wikipedia. Let me. Oh wait, hang on. No. Yeah, no. I'm looking at his Twitter bio. Yep, he's still at Unity.
All right, let me get this kid's freaking out because she wants to play Sackboy real bad. Let me get that set up for her. I'll be right back, everybody.
Play Sackboy real back. Don't worry, everyone. I'll vamp. Don't worry, I got it. I'll vamp. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Oh, that was really quick. That was way quicker than I said. I thought it was going to be.
The problem is I told her that the Astrobot costume is going to be in Sackboy today, and so she's home. She's like, "Go get it for me now!" Immediately a monster. She's a huge Astrobot fan, and she likes Sackboy, and so putting those two things together, she was very excited about that.
That's like kid crack, I guess.
Yes, exactly. And I love Astrobot too, so I'm excited about this. But she is mad at me because I'm not downloading it right away.
And why aren't you downloading it right now?
As soon as the show's done, I'll get it, kiddo. Don't worry. All right. EA. Speaking of Peter Moore, who also worked at EA at one point, it is bringing a bunch of classic games to Steam. This is from Alex Hopley at Game Reactor. Recently, we've seen a fair few big developers bringing their PC games from their own stores to Steam. EA has given us the most recent lot of games to be brought to Valve's platform in the form of a collection of classic titles. These games range in genre, age, and more, and you can get anything from the Command & Conquer collection to Dungeon Keeper. The games, it is like Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, Command & Conquer collection, Dungeon Keeper 2, I think. There's a handful of others, but this is pretty cool. I was actually excited about this. I was a little sad that I want to play that new Syndicate game. It's new. It's from 2012. But the newer,
what new?
Yeah, the newer Syndicate game, because it is on EA Play, I think still. But I don't want to boot up EA Play, so I'm not going to do that. I wish it was just on Steam and I would play it on my Steam Deck. But that's still not on Steam, and that's a little frustrating.
You know what I'm frustrated about? That's not on Steam or any. I don't even believe it is on EA Play or whatever. Sims 1 and Sims 2.
Really?
I don't even.
That's weird.
Dude. Yeah, if you want to buy those, if you want to play those now, you either have to go disc or
Yeah, you gotta find a guy who knows a guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Tam is also correct by saying Peggle. Peggle should be back on iPhone because that was I think you can still buy Peggle, but Peggle on iPhone was elite. Yeah. Oh, we got a Snoopy emoji. Thank you, Jan. Oh. Sorry.
He's got your back there. The Sims. Honestly, I would want them to just do a huge Sims and Sims related drop. I want to play the Herbs.
No, you don't.
I want to play My Sims Secret Agent.
I want to play Sims Medieval.
Yeah, I want to play all this insane shit. At least check it out.
I mean, that's the thing. Sims 2 was the best one. Sims 2 was easily the best one in terms of animation, in terms of gameplay, and it's just, doesn't exist shit anymore. You can't buy it anymore. Unless you buy, I think it on disc, yeah.
She's playing Sackboy. The last level before this one is just straight up David Bowie's Let's Dance and hold that level set to that. But you go to this next one and it's an instrumental version of Material Girl by Madonna. Sackboy rules. Sackboy is such a good game.
Oh, it's great.
People need to go just shut up and go play that game. If you're complaining about games, shut up and go play Sackboy. I'm sick of it, everybody. A bunch of idiots not playing Sackboy. Give that game more sales. All right. Helldivers 2 was the UK's best-selling game in February. This is from Tom Ivan at VGC. Helldivers 2 was the UK's best-selling game in February, following an impressive launch. That's according to data from GSD, which covers digital sales from most major publishers and all physical sales published on GamesIndustry.biz. Bucking the trend, the Sony-published shooter saw its sales grow each week after its release on February 8th. Sales during the game's first 3 weeks were just 28% lower than those of Sony's record-selling Spider-Man 2 during its first 3 weeks of availability last year. That's incredible, actually. That's really wild that it did that well. The PS5 version of Helldivers 2 accounted for 57% of its sales last month, with the remainder coming to PC. Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, which has failed to meet publisher Warner's expectations, debuted at number 4 on the monthly chart. Helldivers being able to be anywhere in the conversation with the Spider-Man game, I think that shows just how powerful that game has become. And it's not too surprising when you see how many people are playing, how many people are talking about it. But still, that's really impressive. I guess the question is if you're in charge of this company, Lucy, do you think that's replicable? Do you think you can look at this and recreate the situation, or is it sort of capturing lightning?
Yeah, lightning. It is 100% lightning in a bottle, for sure. Helldivers was on people's radar, but I don't think anyone expected it to take off as much as it did. I was playing it the weekend, with the old Overwatch crew. And man, it was real fun. It's a good time. But also, good timing accounts for so much. A good product, obviously. And that's the thing, people just kept saying it's fun, it's great, but even the launch issues they had hasn't slowed it down, any of their momentum. So it's awesome. But I also feel like a lot of people are gonna, a lot of execs are gonna be like, well, what's our Helldivers?
Yeah.
What's our Helldivers?
What's our Helldivers? What's our hot ones? What's our hot ones and what's our Helldivers?
Stop it. That is such...
Hey, Lucy, where's our hot ones?
That phrase...
I can tell. I saw you literally shiver when I said that.
I was at dinner with a friend last night, and he said that as well. He joked that, and I was like, "No, I can't."
My wife does these deals. My wife does these deals where she gets some stuff for free, and I opened up my pantry, and there was a pile of Hot Ones branded spicy peanuts or something. So I opened my thing and I'm just a bunch of Hot Ones right in my face. I'm like, there it is. And I thought of where's our Hot Ones?
What's our Hot Ones? It's every single media corporation, every single media company has asked, what's our Hot Ones? Yeah,
and so I think you're right when they say where's our Helldivers, and I think okay, I think most people know. When you talk about that, it is mostly lightning in the bottle. What is the lesson that can be learned here? Because for me, I think it comes down to what they have on their website, where a game for everybody is a game for nobody, and making it something specific and its own thing, and something that's not that could take ideas from other games, absolutely. But when you're playing it, it has such a strong voice that you can't deny it. I think that's the thing that other developers can learn from. There's no guarantee that leads to a ton of sales, but I think that's the best case scenario that you could take away from this. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Helldivers, obviously, this is a sequel, but it's a sequel to a lesser-known property. And I just think it is the confidence in the execution. Like, when you play Helldivers, it knows exactly what it is. It's funny. It's, like, intriguing. The way that they've got the human GM, you know? And it sounds so stupid to be like, oh, we'll just make a good game. But, like, make a good game that's not full of bullshit. And, you know, no. It's a fun game. What can I say? It's really fun.
The human GM is actually, that's a good point as well. Like, not having things like just done by some algorithm in the background or something like that, making it feel like, you know, you are, there's someone working against you and you're trying to overcome them. Yeah, that's neat. But
also the way they're dropping new content in, right? Yeah. It's like, they're just, we're just going to try putting a tank in or something, or a mech or whatever. So it's cool. They're kind of bucking the curve a little bit. And I really, like them a lot for that.
Me too. And I think it's clearly going to be something that people will want to learn from. And I hope some good lessons are learned as well.
Oh, shit, mechs are out. The in-world planet making them was liberated last night. Hell yeah. I love that. It's like,
how cool is that,
storylines.
Right? Yep. Yeah, and you're part of it. Like, it's like you are making changes to the game, and then it has real consequences to how you play. That's fantastic. All right. Well, again, there's some Helldivers tonight then for Rat Night. Warner sets expectations for Hogwarts Legacy's free summer update. This is from Tom Ivan at VGC. Hogwarts Legacy developer Avalanche Software has moved to, quote, set some expectations for the game's free summer update. Ahead of the game's one-year anniversary last month, publisher Warner Brothers confirmed that PlayStation-exclusive content would be released on other platforms this summer, along with additional updates and features for the game. With plenty of speculation about what's in store for the game, Avalanche community manager Chandler Wood provided an update on the studio's plans in a message published on Twitter on Thursday. We are thrilled that you are all excited for the free update to Hogwarts Legacy this summer. We love seeing all the guesses and hopes for what will be part of this update. And while we are not ready to talk about it yet, I do want to set some expectations for what we are working on. Our original wording of additional updates and features for the game was very intentional. This update is a small way of us showing appreciation to our players for the amazing reception to the game. Hogwarts Legacy was 2023's best-selling game ahead of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Warner said in January that it had sold 24 million copies. Despite the success of Harry Potter, they're going to stop making games like that because they're insane or whatever. We had that conversation earlier this week. Yeah, I mean, they like it doesn't sound like doing an expansion pass. They're not doing like some, and this is a free update, so like clearly they're not doing an expansion pass. But it's like going to be probably a couple of small things, maybe some surprising things, like maybe some extra features that people would never assumed. But this team's got to be already looking to Hogwarts Legacy 2, despite what Warner's saying about moving away from AAA games. They're going to be working on a follow-up to this in some way, shape, and form, and they probably already have most of the team working on that, right?
100%. I would assume so. Warner Brothers greenlit a new Harry Potter TV show that's going into effect. Like, that franchise ain't going anywhere. They have a whole game label, which I didn't realize.
Right.
Oh, hang on.
Portkey Games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're making that Quidditch game, which, like, is anyone gonna want to play that? I don't know. This Quidditch is not a good sport. It's not.
No. Do you remember the I can't remember if this was a UK thing, but like when the movies were coming out, they made a broom toy, and it was a broomstick, and it had a little screen on it. And you could, like fly around, and on the screen, like the golden snitch would appear, and you could catch the snitch on this little screen. However, the broom would vibrate when you got close to the snitch. Oh. And so they basically sold a sex toy as a child's toy.
Oh, and the broom is shaped like that. Huh. Well, hey. I mean, listen, that's not the broom and vibrators inside the broom's fault. That's just us perverted adults. It's amazing. So, like you're saying, like
cold.
as the stitch like got physically closer.
I think so. I can't remember like what set off the vibration.
That makes sense.
I didn't have one,
right?
But and maybe they also got recalled pretty quickly. Hang on, let me Google.
I didn't have one either. I will have one as I just ordered it. It'll be here in 2 days. So yeah.
Harry Potter and the vibrating broom.
Wingardium Leviosa. This is a bad show we do here, Lucy.
The dubious plot, it vibrated. Some of the now deleted comments on Amazon, they had to be written with a wink. Ew! Oh no! I'm not reading that aloud.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Hey, to each their own. Whatever you got to do, and if it requires Harry Potter's help, then more power to you. All right, impossible transition. So we'll just bring it down. Restful trails to Akira Toriyama, who passed away last night. And a bunch of the people in the industry like paid tribute to him and his memory. Obviously responsible for Dragon Ball. Much of the art in Dragon Warrior, and Dragon Quest. Had a new game based on one of his other properties, Sandland. That's coming out still. Just a titan whose legacy couldn't be more secure. Just absolute rest in peace to one of the most powerful artists of all time. This was a real bummer, Lucy.
Oh yeah, dude. I was at dinner last night and we were chatting and I was showing my friend something else. And then in a group chat, one of my friends had just written, "Oh my God, that's devastating." And I was like, well, I'm gonna click on that. And I basically just went, "Oh my God, Akira Toriyama died." And then I feel like I've unintentionally created like a flashbulb memory of just despair for my friend that I was with, because he was like, "Oh my God, I want to, cry."
If you're on Twitter, of course, you'll see people like Harada, who's responsible for Tekken, saying rest in peace, and Yoshinori Ono talking about how much he meant to him, and it just goes on and on. Sakurai said something as well. It just an outpouring of love for an artist that, of course, like just has shaped so many people's sensibilities. For me, Lucy, was like seeing Goku on envelope art in GamePro and in EGM and Game Informer and all these video game magazines, and just being like, that looks pretty cool. I don't know what that is. And then learning over time, like, oh, it's this thing called Dragon Ball Z. It's Japanese animation, Japanime, as they would call it back in game magazines back then. And being like, well, I would really like to check this out. Not being able to find it anywhere, not understanding how to like import tapes or anything like that. So like when I would be on Sci-Fi Channel and something like 8 Man After would come on, I'd be like, oh, this is an anime. I'm going to check this out, and being kind of blown away by that. And then much later, when Dragon Ball Z came to Cartoon Network finally, and being like, this is on here. And it was probably like a little bit into the early run of Dragon Ball Z, kind of getting on board at that point and just watching it every day for getting home from what it probably would have been early high school at that point, maybe late middle school, late junior high. And just, absolutely falling in love with it. And no one's done it better. So once again, rest in peace.
RIP to a legend.
RIP to a legend indeed. All right, that's going to do it for the news. We're going to get to the poll here in a second. While I get that set up, Lucy, what do we have going on? What do you have going on? Other than Rat Night, which is maybe the most important thing. What's going on?
Other than Rat Night, baby. What am I doing? So
you sound like Macho Man and Spider-Man. Rat Night, baby.
Rat Night. Next week I'm actually out for half of the week, so I've got a little trip planned that I'm excited about, and then it is GDC, then it is PAX.
Jesus Christ, it really is just gonna be nonstop until PAX, huh?
Well, the thing is as well is that GDC technically starts on Sunday with Day of the Devs. I'm so excited about Day of the Devs. This, like, our schedule is looking really cool. I've left a bunch of spaces for stuff that we just kind of find on the show floor. We are going to be recording a new episode of Jeff's Bizarre Adventure for Diamond is Unbreakable on Monday, so that'll be going up on Wednesday, I believe. Our last episode, I think, went up this Monday. Series is really good, y'all. It's really good. It's nice to be back with the Joe Stars. And then other than that, I'm working on a new show. I'm kind of in the planning stages of that. And I'm just gonna Rat Night, dude. I'm like, look at me.
You're an
I'm
inspiration.
clearly,
I'm going to as well.
Yeah, I'm clearly the picture of health right now. I just need. I was going to see some friends tonight, and then it got cancelled. And I tell you, there is no greater joy than plans getting cancelled, and it's not on you. When you get that text, and you're like, "Oh, what do we do? Friday night? Okay, we'll watch Love Is Blind. Please don't spoil." And I was like, "Yeah, just like we'll go watch Love Is Blind. We'll get some wine in." And then yesterday. My friend Jen just said, actually, guys, I've got plans on Friday night. I can't do it. Can we do Saturday instead? And I just went like,
I hope you know I'm not joking. Yeah. You truly are an inspiration. Like, this is 100% my feelings on this entirely. You just nailed it. It's so good.
There is no greater high than a canceled plan. Like, we were doing Friends Per Second is going up this weekend as well. And 2 weeks ago, when we were recording, we were going to do something on a Tuesday night is when we typically record. And I think Ralph was busy or something, and Ralph just was like, "Guys, I'm so sorry. Can we do tomorrow night?" And I was like,
"Yep,
we can."
We me and Mike record a podcast on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, and then occasionally, we once a month, we also do an extra podcast for Patreon subscribers called Columbros. And I love doing it, but it's like we do it right after another podcast. So whenever, and most of the time it's me being like, I feel bad, or I didn't get a chance to watch it. So the other night when he was sick, he's like, I just can't do it tonight. I was like, pep in my step. Here we fucking go. That's good stuff.
Yo, are you watching Shogun?
I am going to. I intend. That is, if I'm going to watch a TV show, it's going to be Shogun.
That's my rat night. You know what? I time block everything.
Right.
People always say like, how do you do so much?
What does that mean?
People ask me like how I do so much shit, right? You know, and for me it's because I have to schedule everything. And so my night after work, I put in an hour where it's like, hey, here's shit that I do outside of work. Like I prep for Friends Per Second, or I do something else, or I'm, answering emails, like figuring that out. Then I schedule, hey, I'm going to play a video game for an hour and a half. That's a time block of that. And then it's like, hey, I'm going to spend 45 minutes cooking dinner, cleaning up, eating, right? And then I will schedule in, I will watch a show for an hour. And then I will do another thing. Because otherwise, if I've left to my own devices, I will have unstructured and unscheduled internet time, and I will just scroll. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and that's that always feels bad. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I can't schedule. That would cause me too much stress, but I try to, in my own way. I need to use external pressures. That's why I like having a job. That's why I like having responsibilities, because it forces me to fake the shape of a responsible human being. It's all a show. None of it's actually real. But if I have the pressures pushing me up, it's like a Jello mold, standing upright, and that into a responsible adult. And then I kind of could carry some of that momentum forward into leisure activities and be like, okay, I'm going to use that stress to actually behave in a way that's going to get something done tonight. So I'll work out, or I'll watch something, or I'll play a game or something like that. So yeah. I know what you mean.
I live out in my Google Calendar.
Yeah.
My Google Calendar, baby. I meal plan in Google Calendar now.
Really? Okay. Does that involve one night you're making a bunch of stuff for the rest of the night, or is it just what you're going to be making each night?
So I look at my calendar and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be out here. I need meals here, here, here. So I have slots where I know that I need to have meals, and then I bulk. I will make something, and it's enough for 2-3 nights, and then. But I also don't like cooking, and it's annoying.
Yeah, I hate figuring out what I'm going to eat. That is that's the real stressful thing for me. I just never like talking about it, thinking about it. I would just do the paste, just the food substance paste if I could. But I have kids, then that'd be bad. All right, you know what? I said there was a poll question from yesterday. Let's get to that. Have you played Apex Legends? 52% said yes. 27% said they have no interest. 20% said no. That's still a lot of people that can get to play that game over the next couple of years. So, hey, we'll see. They could always change some of those I have no interests into maybe have an interest if they change the game up a little bit, which they're saying they're going to do. New poll question. Yeah. Are you going to play Unicorn Overlord? I'm curious. This seems like one of those games where like maybe you were ignoring it. Now after the reviews, it's a little bit harder to ignore. That's definitely how I feel. I was aware of it. I had some interest, but it was like, there's so much other stuff to play. Maybe not. Now, 87 Metacritic, Jan talking about it. Everyone seeming to enjoy it. I'm gonna try it. So we'll see. Yes or no, that'll go up on the youtube.com/@giantbomb/community. Just go to the community tab there on YouTube. You can find it there. Vote on that, and we'll talk about the results on Game Miss Mornings on Giant Bomb on Monday. Speaking of Giant Bomb, later today, UPF is going to be Mario Kart Grand Prix, where we play all the Grand Prix in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is 96 courses. And Lucy, I looked on for other people who've done this, and there's not a single stream of this kind that is shorter than 5 hours.
Yeah, in the Monday meeting, you guys are talking about this, and you're like, "Oh yeah, we'll move BCR, and we'll move.
We still have to do BCR today too.
We'll keep moving BCR." And I was like,
we'll see how that's going to work. But tune in live to see for yourself. You're not going to want to miss it. I think it's going to be a good time. It's going to be myself, Dan Reichert, Turbo Sean McDowell, and Bailey Myers all competing in that. And then Mike's going to throw in some wrinkles here and there, is my understanding, but we'll see.
Yeah. My money's on Sean because he's got Turbo in his name.
Sean's very good at Mario Kart, so that's not a bad bet.
And also he's very good at Mario Kart.
All right. That's going to do it. Lucy, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games. It helped me get through this Friday.
You are welcome. I'm going to blow my nose really loud.
Thank you all for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Bye.
Fade to black. Until next time.
Until next time. I got to pop off. I got to meet
do what you got to do.
Bye.